Okay, welcome into our practice virtual platform. My name is Brian Wright, CEO of New Patient Group and the co-host of the New Patient Group podcast, formerly known as the Dr. Diamond Club podcast. Now, what we're going to do inside the practice virtual platform, we're actually inside a client right now. It's actually the co-host of our podcast, Dr. Robert Barton. And Robert, go ahead and click on statistics for me here. Let's take them into, and the very first thing they're going to see is this calendar, okay? This calendar is your instant indicator, and this brings a lot of convenience, we believe, on whether or not the stats were entered properly for that day.
So just like the employee checklist, guys, what this is doing for management and employees too is before you even click into the calendar, you get instant notification on whether or not the stats were entered for that particular day. So anything that you see as green, all the stats were entered. Anything that you would see as white, either the stats weren't entered or you haven't gotten to that particular day of the month.
So in this case, Dr. Barton is able to look immediately and see green, and green means the employees entered all the stats for that day. If it's not green, they mean they missed at least one. Now here are all the stats that we have built out for Dr. Robert Barton according to exactly how he wanted it done. All of these stats. Now it looks a little bit overwhelming here because there's a lot of stats, but don't be worried because all your employees have to do is select this drop-down menu, they click their name, and then these are the ones that they actually are responsible for entering on a daily basis. So again, this is why it does not add more than 1, 2, 3 minutes worst case scenario for employees on a daily basis. And all of this stuff is obviously vital for your success in order to have oversight on. So Robert, let's go into the dashboard now and we'll show. Now, one of the reasons why Robert is one of our most successful clients is because not only does he track ours, but he gets really engaged with this stuff. So our team, if you see over here, that's kind of the statistical behind the scenes, how it's coded to where it all populates to where you're able to see it in these beautiful bar graphs and pie charts that Robert's going to see as you scroll along here. And now all of these go back to your lead measures, okay? It's being able to have data that you're not seeing now, but see it in a beautiful way. Now, all of these right here, the beauty is there's no software limitations. While I was talking about how Robert's very successful, is sure, he tracks a lot of our lead measures that we want, but he also has our team, and this is why our team is standing by for you. Our team has also built out things that he told us. He's like, hey, look, I want to track A, B, and C. Can you do it? Our team builds that out. The employees enter it into the scoreboard, and he's able to see and have oversight of his organization, unlike his competition does. So therefore, again, he can tailor that training to make the employees better. So let's go over to another platform now, Robert.
I'll show you
So now we're in another one of our clients' practices. And again, you see the difference here because they wanted different stats tracked in addition to the ones that we gave them in our EPI course. So let's focus a little bit on the new patient call analysis for this particular employee. And it looks like she has scheduled 56 total new patient calls and she's received 60, okay? So this employee right here has about a 93% conversion, which is good. We like to keep it with our clients above 95% at all times. But while she's scheduled a lot of them, she's also dropped about 4 new patient opportunities. Again, that visibility is important to the training. Now down here, let's take a look at this particular employee, and she's scheduled 117 and she's received 123 calls. So she's dropped 6 new patient opportunities as well, with about a 95%.
So you guys can see as we go through this, it's not a, hey, receptionist, we're trying to get you fired tool. What it is visibility for management in order to provide training just to simply make you better, but also allow you to go back to management and say, hey, look, I have gotten better. Look at the data. Please give me a raise. So it works both ways. But the thing so far here is just between 2 receptionists, and they're not even doing bad, their conversion is good. But the visibility, I think everybody would agree, is that just between 2 receptionists, they've dropped 10 new patients for the year. Now this is, in this example in particular is for an orthodontic practice, but these examples work no matter what. But as an orthodontic practice, 10 new patients equates to $50,000, $100,000 worth of growth if they were to capture them. So even if they train to be able to capture 5 out of those 10, how much they're able to grow without spending any outside marketing dollars at all. It's all about the internal focus and why this stuff is so very important to pay attention to.
Conversion rate. Now, let's look at a couple more really quick, like this one as an example. This particular employee has scheduled 39 patients, and received 51. So just you can see this just between 3 receptionists.
Now between 3 receptionists, they have about 22 new patients they've lost. And 99.9% of practices don't even know this data. They're out spending money on postcards, on billboards, on SEO, all of that stuff. Meanwhile, if their focus was more on training the receptionist, they would have at least 50% of these, worst case scenario, would have been converted as opposed to lost. And that's how you grow with an inside out approach, because then when you go and spend money on outside advertising, you're then able to convert that at much higher levels.
Right here, you're looking at a lot of missed opportunities. This right here represents $100,000+ loss in a year for your organization. So very important that you have visibility of that. And over here, again, this is how we are going to customize this employee scoreboard out for your organization. As you can see, this one is very different than the previous one when I showed you Dr. Barton's, because the stats they are wanting are different than what this particular practice is wanting. So let's go ahead and take a look at some financial presentation stats as it relates to the EPI course. And we're now in another client, and this client tracks, again, a lot different than the previous two that you saw. All the pie charts, and the beauty of these as well is each one of these can be turned into a pie chart, bar graph, line graph, things like that, depending on how you want to see them. They're very easily changed, or our team can do it for you as well. So if we scroll down here, we're going to go into the financial analysis, if you can find that. So this particular practice, and I love this because it's part of our EPI course, but this particular practice has total visibility of the no-shows of both their new and existing patients right in here, and they also have total visibility of the late cancellations, because a late cancellation is...
So for that practice, that's 17 new patient no-shows, and just from 2 locations combined. So again, you focus on the receptionist training, improve that by 50%. You focus on the no-shows, improve that by 50%, all through the training, is that you're doubling your new patients without spending one additional nickel on outside advertising. Again, just because of the visibility, so you know what to train on.
Different than a no-show. So therefore you solve it in a different way. But you can only solve it if you know what the numbers are, because you have to have a baseline where they're starting to see if the training is improving. Now, why is this an EPI? Because training can improve this. Training on the verbiage skills of your employees, how they speak, how often they speak the no-show policy, and some other things you can do in your organization, and that's what this is tracking, okay? Now let's go down and let's take a look at presenting money, all right? Some treatment acceptance when money is presented. And we're looking at this particular employee. Now she has presented 230 treatment plans and had 186 of them accepted. This particular practice wanted their acceptance rate done in a different box. You can have yours right here, and again, it can show it in any way you like. So this one has about an 84, a little bit above an 84% treatment acceptance. Now, that's well above the national average. Our clients, though, this is the beauty of it, and especially if you have our in-house coaching program or a webinar coach, is not only are you going to have the visibility, but now our coaches do, because we like to see, if you go back over here for me real quick, Robert, show that number, that 84%. We want this to be above 90. Most of our best performing clients are above 95. It is way above the national average. So until this treatment coordinator and this person presenting money inside your practice is above 90 or 95, we know they need training, because we know our training can get them there. All right, so that's that visibility. So if you go, let's look at just one or two more. Let's go down to another treatment acceptance. And there we go. We got one right there. So this is accepted. 51 treatment plans accepted. Let's see how many. And 119 presented. See.
So you guys can see, and we're getting close to wrapping this up, you guys can see between the receptionists, even though they were doing good, the no-shows, and then how money is being presented, and maybe it's just the lack of ability to overcome certain questions properly, or just even the lack of ability to identify the type of buyer you're presenting to, so you're not tailoring the verbiage properly, whatever it may be. Between 3 departments, no-shows, receptionists, and TCs, these practices are losing hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year. That would equate to serious growth, probably record growth in the best year the practice has ever had, by fixing them with proper training. Again, going back to, you can only do it if you have the visibility on what to train to. And then we're almost done here, guys.
First of all, I want to commend this employee for being honest, okay? But this is a huge hole. That is a 42% acceptance. You can see when this person presents money, they went from an 85% acceptance rate all the way down almost 40%. Huge hole in the boat, but you have to have visibility of it. Now you can tailor the training right back over here to make this person better. And the way that works, if you have our Practice Virtual platform in addition to the EPI course, Robert, why don't you scroll up and head over to the curriculum really quick. You might have seen this in some different videos, but see, this is how our virtual training program works. You take the EPIs that show the weaknesses, and you go right over to our Financial Expert course right there, and you expand that out, and there are tons upon tons of training all going into how you get people to accept at higher levels, okay? So that is how you take that and apply it to the weak spots showing on your employee scoreboard, okay? All of this, it's only $97 a month. There's no contracts. Of course, you can do it on your own Excel sheet. From what we've seen, just the visibility this gets, the accountability that it gives your organization, being able to see all of this stuff in bar graphs, pie charts, etc., is more than what the $97 a month costs, all right? That investment gets you visibility of your organization unlike ever before.